So this premise, that they have with Batman is that he is the darkest, most brooding superhero in the world, and yet he's the richest guy. He's the most good looking. He's super buff. He's got all these toys that he plays with, and yet somehow he's the guy who's the most Byronic, hero there is in superhero comics. So we wanted to kind of take that and kind of go, okay, well, why? What is this guy's problem? And we wanted to try to have a movie that sort of explores can this guy actually be a superhero and maybe even learn to be happy? I think that's the dilemma with Batman is that he looks at the world. He's a solo act, as in general. That's the way that his attitude is. It's his attitude in the Lego movie for sure. And he maybe pushes people away. But can a guy like that, who's sort of based himself on being this, that dark silhouette on a rooftop somewhere, sort of, mourning all of the past tragedies and the responsibility of the city of Gotham, can that guy find happiness and make happiness a choice and yet still be able to be this super cool superhero? I think that's a fun thing to just do with Batman, to see if can Batman smile? Can the movie end with just Batman smiling? And then and then on top of that, that's an interesting message for kids, to look at life and to say, hey, you know what, you're always gonna have good days. You're gonna have good days. You're gonna have bad days. There's always gonna, there's always gonna be, obstacles and things like that, conflicts that come up in your life. But maybe by choosing happiness, that actually, as just as a life philosophy, is maybe not a bad way to go. We wanted people to feel like this was something that felt real. I think a lot of times when you're doing animated movies, they just kind of throw people in a booth and they record them and they, it's read the script, do the lines, that kind of thing. And we wanted something that sounded like it was, moment to moment, wanted to sound, and a lot of times what we did is we recorded actors together. I'm not afraid of overlapping dialogue. I'm not afraid of the spontaneous things that come out of bringing these really interesting actors, sort of combustible personalities in a room together. I think that's a lot of fun. That's where you get a lot of the charm and also the realness, the sincere, honest reaction to somebody saying something. And that's what I think that brings life. If you watch the Lego movie with the sound down and you just sort of watch the acting that goes on and the acting that the animators brought to the table based on the voices, you'll see that there's a life beyond these characters' eyes. And I think that's one of the things we really wanted to, I think that came out of getting these actors and being able to pit them in the room together, let them sort of whether they were with other actors or alone, come up with their own sort of spin on the material and be able to sort of freely improvise. And then we would figure out, okay, how to sculpt that. Will Arnett is such a fun guy to work with, and he's super cool, and he's inventive, and his game to try anything. And I think his attitude is 100% why the Lego Batman character works. Michael Cera is amazing. The innocence and just the innocence inherent in his voice, the charm, the can-do positivity that's just inherent in his vocal quality is amazing. And he's just a super game, fun guy to work with. Robin in our movie is a super psyched, pumped up, almost Book of Mormon-ish kid. He loves life. He's super positive. He always sees the glass half full. It's if he stubs his toe, he says something like, "I've got 9 other toes that don't, that aren't in extreme pain right now." That's the way that he looks at. That's the way he looks at the world. And so being able to put those two in the Batmobile together is kind of the source of where a lot of the comedy is going to be derived from this movie. Is that you got the most psyched, pumped up kid in the world, and you've got the guy who's the darkest, most brooding, monosyllabic, misanthropic, guy in the world, and they have to work together. We've forced them to work together. In our version of Joker, it's played by Zach Galifianakis. Joker is, I think Joker wants somebody to tell him that he does a good job. He wants somebody to tell him. He wants Batman specifically to tell him that, like, you complete me. Like, I think that there is a little bit of a Jerry Maguire story to their relationship. That he wants Batman to say, you know what, you actually have good ideas, and you did a good job, and I like you. Like you make me better, that kind of thing. Just want somebody to tell him that, they appreciate him. Barbara Gordon and Batgirl is such an important part of this movie and the filmmaking that we're trying to do. And the fact that she is sort of, an intellectual foil to Batman. I mean, she is better for her philosophy and what she wants to do. She's better for Gotham City ultimately than what Batman is trying to do. And so we have a real opportunity with her character because other than the 1966 TV show and the Batman and Robin movie, you don't really get a chance to see like Batgirl, and so can actually like do a Batgirl kind of origin story in this film, and that's what's been a lot of fun is to develop that side of things.
Hey Lisa, here with some behind the scenes facts for you. The character of Gollum in Lord of the Rings was digitally created by using 13 cameras pointed at different sensors attached to actor Andy Serkis's costume. Now, the high-speed Phantom camera used in The Hurt Locker from 2008 had a capability of 2,000 frames per second. Now, keep up to date with all the latest releases by subscribing to our channel and checking the notification bell. See you next time.